Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movies entitled Yu Yu Hakusho. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing a student named Yusuke Urameshi, who looks confused after seeing his body picked up by medical personnel. Soon, Yusuke's best friend Keiko came to the place crying. Yusuke tried to call Keiko, but Keiko seemed not to see his existence. This finally made Yusuke realize that he had died, and now he as a spirit only needed to wait for the angel of death to come to pick him up. Then, we will be shown 4 hours before Yusuke's death. At that time, Yusuke was still at school like any other student. That day, Yusuke saved a student named Kirino, who was being extorted by some naughty children. Unfortunately, the teacher came at the wrong time, so he thought Yusuke was the culprit. Moreover, because of his appearance and ignorant attitude, Yusuke is often labeled a bad boy by teachers at his school. Yusuke also received unpleasant treats from his appearance. He was often scolded by the teachers, even though sometimes Yusuke had not done anything wrong. Because he felt upset, Yusuke decided to skip school and go home. When he arrived home, his mother watched a television broadcast featuring an interview with a businessman named Sakyo. In his interview, Sakyo plans to build entertainment in a mysterious large hole in Sarayashiki. After that, Yusuke met a gang led by Kuwabara. Kuwabara's arrival was to take revenge on Yusuke because he felt he had been defeated by Yusuke. Even though Yusuke was alone, he defeated Kuwabara and his men. This proves that Yusuke does have very excellent martial arts skills. The scene then shows an insect coming out of a large hole. The insect then flies and enters the nose of a driver who is angry because of the traffic conditions. The driver suddenly behaved very strangely, as if possessed by a demon. He then drove his truck brutally and crashed into everything in front of him. The truck then drove very fast through the busy market street. People ran in fear to avoid the truck, and when the truck was about to hit a little boy, Yusuke ran to save him and sacrificed his life to save the little boy. That's the reason why Yusuke was injured and ended up dying. Then, we will also be told that the human world and the demon world were connected in ancient times. Humans who enter the demon world will become victims of yokai. In contrast, yokai who enter the human world will prey on humans. Then, the spirit world made a boundary between the two worlds to separate the human and demon worlds. The big hole in the city's center is the gate separating the human and demon worlds. Back to Yusuke, where he was approached by a spirit world guide named Botan. Botan said that Yusuke's death was actually not predicted by the spirit world, because they did not expect a punk like Yusuke to be willing to sacrifice his life to save a child. Botan then took Yusuke to the spirit world to meet with her boss, Koenma.
本来は魔界に生息する妖怪なのだが、生かれるんだから断る理由は。
There, Koenma offered Yusuke to become a spirit world detective, in exchange for the reward that he would later be revived. Yusuke will solve all cases about yokai in the human world, and one of the cases that has just occurred is the appearance of an insect yokai named Makaichu. Hearing that explanation, Yusuke immediately rejected Koenma's offer. Yusuke is not the type of person who likes to be ordered. After all, he believes everyone would be happy with his death. Then, the scene switches to show Sakyo, who meets someone named Tarukani. Sakyo, who owns a gambling place, helps Tarukani to win. Because it turns out that Sakyo bought the big hole from Tarukani. On the day of his funeral, Yusuke saw the naughty children who had previously acted up. The brats bullied Kirino again. Unfortunately, Yusuke could not do anything to help Kirino this time. He also saw Kuwabara and his gang, who came to protest because Yusuke just died before Kuwabara could take revenge. Besides them, there was also the little boy who was saved by Yusuke. The little boy was named Masaru. He wished he could thank Yusuke directly for saving his life. Hearing that, Yusuke's mother could only cry. In the evening, the bad boys were still bullying Kirino. Even then, the gang leader intended to burn Kirino. But suddenly, Kirino was possessed by Makaichu. Kirino then went berserk and beat up all the bad boys. Kirino's scream was also heard by Kuwabara and his gang, who immediately ran to the location. At that time, Kirino, who was on a rampage, dropped a motorcycle with gasoline flowing into a lit match. As a result, when Kuwabara and his gang came, the motorcycle exploded, and there was a fire. Meanwhile, Yusuke's mother and Keiko continued to cry because of Yusuke's death. That's why Yusuke told Botan that he wanted to be revived because he couldn't bear to see Keiko and his mother crying. Botan was excited and immediately told Koenma. Koenma said that Yusuke's revival had been successful, But now the situation was dangerous, because Yusuke's body was being threatened due to a fire caused by Kirino. It turned out that Yusuke's house was hit by a fire due to a motor explosion made by Kirino. Yusuke's mother was being rescued by some people because she kept forcing her way in and saying that Yusuke was still alive. Because of this, Keiko is desperate to enter to save Yusuke's body. Yusuke's spirit then immediately caught up with Keiko. There, he saw Keiko had fainted while hugging his body. When the house roof was about to fall on Keiko, Yusuke's spirit immediately held the roof. Yusuke then asked Konma to revive him, and he would be willing to do whatever Konma ordered. Yusuke finally returned to life and took Keiko out of the house. After saving Keiko, Yusuke has an important task, saving Kirino from Yokai Makaichu. Meanwhile, Kuwabara and his friends tried to resuscitate Kirino, who was still raging. Yusuke also came to save Kuwabara. Yusuke communicates with Koenma and asks how to resuscitate Kirino. Koenma replied that the only way was to use Reiryoku, the blue light spirit energy Yusuke had previously used to save Keiko. However, the problem was that Yusuke did not understand how to activate Reiryoku, because previously the power had appeared spontaneously. Yusuke also faced Kirino, only armed with his martial arts knowledge. Yusuke must be able to rescue Kirino, who was starting to be possessed by Makaichu, so his face and hands turned horrible. If not immediately resolved, then Kirino will turn into a yokai. Because of that, Kirino became stronger and more uncontrollable. He continued to attack Yusuke until Yusuke was injured in several parts of his body. Even so, Yusuke did not give up and tried to carry out his duties properly. Kirino pulled a gas cylinder, which finally exploded, and made them both bounce. Yusuke also tried to get up and hold Kirino's body while trying to resuscitate him. Kirino begged to be saved with the last remnants of his consciousness. And finally, Yusuke managed to awaken Reiryoku. With one blow infused with Reiryoku, Yusuke removes Yokai Makaichu from Kirino's body and kills him instantly. The scene then switched to show the demon nations who were slaughtering many humans. Among the demons were 3 thieving demons, namely Goki, Kurama, and Hiei. They came to that place to steal 3 relics guarded in the spirit world. The 3 objects are the soul-sucking orb, a mirror that can grant wishes, and the last one is a spirit knife. And that was the next task Yusuke had to complete. But Yusuke still couldn't master Reiryoku to the fullest. With such conditions, Koenma and Botan were unsure if Yusuke could defeat the 3 demons. Shortly after that, they received a notification about Goki, who had begun to move to absorb children's souls in the human world. With high confidence, Yusuke was not afraid to face Goki, even though he had not mastered Reiryoku. Yusuke was even eager to find Goki's whereabouts. After searching the neighborhood, Yusuke finally met Goki at a car junkyard. And that's where the fierce battle between Yusuke and Goki finally began. Goki, a powerful demon, could easily defeat Yusuke, who did not have any strength. Only by relying on his self-defense skills was Yusuke able to avoid every attack from Goki. In the middle of the battle, Yusuke had seen one of the other thief demons, Kurama, who was only silent, looking at the battle from a distance. Goki's strength cannot be compared to Yusuke's previous opponents. Goki easily defeated Yusuke. When Yusuke was about to be killed, Masaru suddenly came and threw his ball at Goki. Goki was happy when he saw Masaru because he was hungry and wanted to eat children's souls. Goki then quickly absorbed Masaru's soul and prepared to eat it. Yusuke, of course, did not let that happen. Unconsciously, his spirit power activated, and he managed to defeat Goki and save the souls of all the children who had been captured by Goki. The scene then moves to the Tarukani residence. There, Tarukani locked up yokai, whose tears could turn into gemstones. The stone was then handed over to his men to be sold at a very expensive price. After Tarukani left, one of his guards treated the prisoner's wounds and promised to try to free her. Kuwabara followed Yusuke because he could see Botan when his other friends could not. Yusuke then accidentally saw Kurama in the market, and at that time, Kurama was seen buying flowers. Kurama then took the flower to a hospital. It turns out that Kurama was there visiting his mother, who was seriously ill. It turns out that Kurama was once injured and hid in the womb of a woman. Initially, he intended to leave after his strength recovered, but instead, he felt an inner attachment to his mother. Kurama also said that the mirror he got would be used to heal his mother. Kurama also promised that after curing his mother, he would return the mirror to Yusuke. It turned out that Kuwabara, who had been following Yusuke, also heard all the talks. Kurama's story touched Yusuke. But when he learned that the mirror would take the soul of someone who made a request, he immediately ran to stop Kurama. Arriving at the hospital, Kuwabara tried to hold Yusuke because he didn't want Yusuke to be affected by the power of the spirit mirror. Yusuke still didn't care, and desperately entered the mirror world to save Kurama. Kurama, who loves his mother very much, admits that he doesn't care if his soul is taken. But Yusuke says that he is sure Kurama's mother will not be happy if she finds out that she survived at the expense of her son's soul. As a result, Yusuke asked the mirror to take half his soul so that he and Kurama could survive. Thanks to this, Kurama's mother finally returned to health, as well as Kurama and Yusuke, who were still alive. Kuwabara felt proud of Yusuke's decision. Without realizing it, this made them, who were originally rivals, become friendly. At the same time, one of the remaining thief demons, Hiei, was seen looking for the whereabouts of the gemstones that would be sold by Tarakane's men. With his power, he managed to track down the stone and take it from Tarakane's men. Knowing the stone was gone, Tarakane was immediately furious. He immediately called Sakyo and intended to cancel the big whole purchase contract. Sakyo asked Tarakane not to make any rash decisions. He also invited Tarakane to come to his house, and he promised to give him more gemstones and protect him from the enemies targeting him. That's when Sakyo gives a new assignment to a yokai named Toguro. This means that Sakyo and Tarakane both know about yokai's existence and use the yokai for profit. And the next task that awaits Yusuke is to defeat the thieving yokai, Hiei. Meanwhile, Hiei's attack on Tarakane's men led Yusuke to Tarakane's residence. There, Yusuke found Hiei, who was attacking people in the house. It turns out that Hiei is looking for the whereabouts of his sister named Yukina, who was detained by Tarukane. Hiei finally found out that Yukina had been taken away by Tarukane. There was a fight between Hiei and Yusuke. Yusuke could not defeat Hiei, who had extraordinary speed. Meanwhile, Tarukane was seen taking Yukina to Sakyo's private island. Apparently, Sakyo deliberately built the island specifically for rich people who want to have fun. Sakyo gathers the yokai to be battled, and the rich people will watch while placing bets. One of the top yokai owned by Sakyo is Toguro. This one is young Toguro, and this one is old Toguro. Once there, the caged Yukina is taken to a prison. But when the cage was opened, Yukina was no longer there. Yukina was apparently taken away by one of Tarukane's men, who felt sorry to see her. But when they were about to escape from the island, they were intercepted by old Toguro, who immediately killed the men. As a result, the woman was recaptured and put in prison. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Koenma prepares a mentor named Genkai to train Yusuke so that he can control his strength. Apparently, Kuwabara overheard the conversation and insisted on participating in the training. Unlike Yusuke, who was too lazy to join the training, Kuwabara actually showed his seriousness. He did this because Kuwabara felt he failed to protect his gang members when they fought with Kirino, and he did not want that to happen again. Master Genkai also told Kuwabara to smash a large rock armed only with a wooden sword, but because of Kuwabara's strong determination, he destroyed the boulder using Reiryoku. Seeing Kuwabara's progress, Yusuke felt challenged and was encouraged to train harder. For several days, Yusuke and Kuwabara took the training from the Master Genkai seriously. It was thanks to this training that Yusuke was able to upgrade his strength. After practicing for several days, Master Genkai finally gave her Reiryoku power to Yusuke. She saw Yusuke's development so far, and she was sure Yusuke was the right person to get that power. Genkai left great hopes on Yusuke's shoulders, hoping that Yusuke could use the power of Reiryoku to save humanity. In the evening, Master Genkai was visited by young Toguro. Unexpectedly, the two used to practice martial arts together. However, young Toguro made a deal with a demon that made him strong and youthful. After learning that Reiryoku's power had been inherited, young Toguro felt Master Genkai was no longer useful, so he did not hesitate to kill her immediately. Meanwhile, Sakyo creates a device that can destroy the barrier between the human and demon worlds. The scientists working on the device say they need more money to speed up the process, so Sakyo plans to earn a lot of money quickly. He invites rich people to start a bet. This time, Sakyo's yokai will face a special guest. At the same time, Yusuke was eating at Keiko's family's ramen shop. After eating, Yusuke was ready to go home, but Hiei suddenly kidnapped Keiko. Feeling angry, Yusuke met Hiei in his hiding place. Without giving Hiei a chance to speak, Yusuke immediately attacked him. Luckily, before anything bad happened, Kurama explained what happened. It turns out that the person who kidnapped Keiko was the old Toguro in disguise. Keiko has been taken to Sakyo's private island to lure Yusuke's arrival. Keiko is kept in the same detention room as Yukina. Since Yukina and Keiko are now kept on Sakyo's private island, Yusuke, Hiei, and Kurama prepare to go to the island to rescue them. Of course, Kuwabara joined the mission because he wanted to save Keiko. Yusuke and the others finally arrived at Kubikukuri Island. Once there, Hiei chose to separate from the others. Yusuke, Kuwabara, and Kurama were then intercepted by a yokai named Karasu. Kurama told Yusuke and Kuwabara to continue their journey while he would face Karasu. At the same time, Hiei was also intercepted by a yokai named Musashi. This fight became the first betting round, where the rich would bet on who would win. The fight between Kurama and Karasu was very fierce. Karasu said that he didn't expect a cruel yokai, like Kurama, to be friends with humans. Kurama's current form is not his original form as a yokai. Karasu then attacked Kurama with his hand, and Kurama returned the attack with his lashes. The fight between the two yokai seemed evenly matched. However, Karasu was not satisfied because Kurama never showed his yokai form. Karasu then unleashed a flurry of shots that managed to corner Kurama. Kurama is now trapped in the range of Karasu's shots, which makes him unable to move freely. As a result, Kurama also took out a rose to eliminate the shot, and another rose was thrown right into Karasu's hand. Kurama, who was getting weaker, finally showed his yokai form. His form is like a white fox equipped with Ojigi plants from the demon world. As a result, the situation is now finally reversed. The Ojigi plant in Kurama's body began to attack Karasu. When the Ojigi plant binds Karasu's body, Kurama's spirit energy is increasingly depleted until he becomes weaker. But suddenly, Kurama laughed, because it turned out that the rose previously stuck in Karasu's hand was Shimaneki grass. Shimaneki grass is a parasitic plant that sticks its roots into the body of living things. If Kurama says a certain word, the plant will grow large and destroy the body of a living being from the inside. Now that the parasite has spread inside Karasu's body, it also makes Karasu feel pain. With one word from Kurama, Shimaneki's grass roots instantly destroyed all of Karasu's organs. In another battle, Hiei faced Musashi, who wore armor and carried a large axe, while Hiei fought using a sword. Hiei was so severely defeated in terms of weapons that he was overwhelmed. But Hiei was superior in speed, so none of Musashi's attacks hit Hiei. After fighting for a long time, Hiei finally managed to find an opening to attack Musashi. Not wanting to lose so easily, Musashi finally removed his armor and revealed his yokai form. Because he was cornered, Hiei also made a special move to defeat Musashi. However, because of that, Hiei's right hand had to be injured very badly. Finally, Kurama and Hiei won the first two battles. Meanwhile, in prison, Keiko wakes up and becomes acquainted with Yukina. Yukina sees Keiko's hand is injured and offers to help treat it. Yukina confesses that she is a yokai, as well as the person who has kidnapped Keiko. Keiko is not afraid of Yukina because she believes Yukina is a good yokai. Keiko then utilized the wrestling techniques Yusuke had taught her to fool the guards. After that, she freed Yukina and escaped from prison together. Not long after, they met Kuwabara, who had previously split up with Yusuke. Kuwabara was immediately amazed at Yukina's beauty. He then led them to escape. But accidentally, they freed a yokai in the form of a dinosaur. They immediately ran away and locked the yokai in a room. After that, Kuwabara, Keiko, and Yukina escaped to another place, but they were intercepted by Old Toguro. The main power that Old Toguro has is that he can regenerate so that even though he has been attacked many times, he can return to his original form. Meanwhile, Yusuke entered the main battle arena. He must win against young Toguro if he wants his friends to survive. That's when Sakyo learns that the barrier gate has begun to open. This set thousands of Yokai Makaichu free, but Koenma immediately set up a barrier to stop the Yokai Makaichu from entering the human world. But the barrier won't last long, so Yusuke is humanity's only hope. Yusuke must defeat Toguro so they can stop Sakyo. As the strongest yokai Sakyo has, young Toguro easily fights Yusuke even though he has not yet unleashed his 100% power. Even so, Yusuke still did not give up and continued to try to fight the young Toguro. In the middle of the fight, Kenma met Sakyo and told him to stop the device in the hole. Sakyo refused and instead invited Kenma to bet. If Yusuke wins, then Sakyo will stop the tool and is willing to risk his life. But on the other hand, if young Toguro wins, the barrier between the human and demon worlds will be opened. Back to the fight, when Yusuke was about to be attacked, Hiei and Kurama came to help Yusuke. Hiei, Kurama, and Yusuke worked together to fight the young Toguro. It can be seen that despite being attacked by 3 people at once, young Toguro was not overwhelmed at all. Especially at that time, Kurama and Hiei's condition was unstable due to the previous battle. At the same time, Kuwabara, Keiko, and Yukina are now chased by the old Toguro. The regeneration ability that old Toguro has makes his body recover quickly, even though he has been attacked many times. Meanwhile, Yusuke's and the others' struggles continue. This time, Yusuke used the spirit gun to counter the young Toguro's attack. They thought the young Toguro could be defeated with that move, but they were wrong because the young Toguro was not injured. Soon, Kuwabara and the others arrived at the main battle arena. At that time, the old Toguro laughed with satisfaction seeing Yusuke, Hiei, and Kurama, who had been defeated, and said that Genkai's death was in vain. Hearing that made Yusuke and Kuwabara very surprised. Koenma and Botan had deliberately not told them about this because they did not want to break Yusuke's concentration. Old Toguro continued his story about the past of young Toguro and Genkai. The two used to be friends in the same struggle. However, in the middle of the process, young Toguro chooses to become a yokai with the help of demons to gain martial arts knowledge. Disgusted by his brother's story, young Toguro immediately killed old Toguro. After hearing the news of the death of Master Genkai, made Kuwabara very angry. He also activated the power of Reiryoku to attack young Toguro. Young Toguro used Kuwabara to provoke the power of Reiryoku that Genkai gave to Yusuke. And sure enough, when he saw Kuwabara almost killed, Yusuke's Reiryoku got up and beat the young Toguro. After being attacked, young Toguro is not dead, but he turns into a yokai. The young Toguro also showed his true power, as he could attack the enemy with just one finger. Botan informed Koenma that he had discovered why Toguro became a yokai. 50 years ago, Toguro's friends were killed by a yokai named Kairen. The yokai appeared to fight against Toguro, and after winning, he ate all of Toguro's friends. This also made Toguro ambitious to become stronger, so he was willing to turn himself into a yokai. Toguro currently wants to see Reiryoku Yusuke's strength to the fullest, so he deliberately attacked Keiko and Yukina to provoke Yusuke's anger. Hiei, Kurama, and Kuwabara tried to hold back Toguro, but they were unable to deal with him. As a result, when Kuwabara stood up to protect Keiko and Yukina, he was attacked to death. It also managed to provoke Yusuke's anger, and automatically Yusuke's Reiryoku power was at its maximum. With that power, he also gave a huge, deadly attack. With that attack, Yusuke managed to kill Toguro. After that, Yukina immediately ran to Kuwabara to treat his wound. Thanks to that, Kuwabara managed to survive death. Yukina felt guilty for Kuwabara because she thought all this happened because of her. But Kuwabara denied it and said that the one who should apologize was the human who had trapped and tortured Yukina. But the existence of Kuwabara, Yusuke, and Keiko can prove that not all humans are evil. Since his goal has been achieved, Hiei hands over the spirit knife to Kurama. Sakyo, who lost the bet, finally kept his promise. He stopped the demon gate opening device and shot himself. After losing and dying, Toguro punished himself by entering the deepest hell. On the way, Genkai had time to greet Toguro because she felt sympathy for her old friend. Toguro also left a message that Yusuke would become much stronger, but if she could not control it, Yusuke would end up like Toguro. Then, we will be shown the friendship between Yusuke, Keiko, Yukina, Kuwabara, Hiei, and Kurama, and the movie is over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like, and comment.